Spent a lot of my life learning how to get rich. And then I meet some people, especially poor people, who say, oh, was it worth it? That's why they'll never be rich. Or people will say, I can't afford it, or money's not that important to me. Those are all lies. You cannot survive today without money. Try, how far do you want to go without money? So let me just say something to you. There's got to be something that's worth living for. And what I'm saying here is this. When I was 18 years old, I had to read this book here at the academy, went to military school. The economics we study with the study of Marx. This here is my book. It's in solid gold and all this. It's called the Capitalist Manifesto. So the thing that I had to decide was, since most school teachers are Marxists, like my poor dad, this is my rich dad here. I wanted to be a capitalist. When our schools teach us to be Marxists, they tell us to pay taxes, join labor unions. But the question here is what do you live for and all that is, the reason I'm a rich man is I fought for that. So when you look at this here, this is called the Huey gunship. That's what I flew. I flew it to fight for capitalism. So when I went to school at military school, they yell at you, they scream at you and all this, but they had us read this book here. And when people study economics, they go, well, I studied economics in school. And what I ask them is this question: what type of economics? There's a whole slew of different economists, like Adam Smith is different than Marx. There's huge differences. The reason I point to this book here is because I read this book here, I flew this in Vietnam. This was the most feared weapon of the Viet Cong. This is called the Huey gunship. You could come in and we could kill them right face to face on the ground. So is it worth getting rich? That's the question, because it's just about the money. Because there's a million ways you can get rich. There's so many different ways. And I was just getting rich. I met this man here, Dr. R. Buckminster Fuller. He was a peacenik. Completely opposite of me. He's considered one of the greatest geniuses of our time. He invented the geodesic dome. John Denver wrote a song, What One Man Can Do. So I met him in 1981. I was studying with him in Kirkwood, California, which is above Lake Tahoe. I'm studying with Bucky Fuller, and he asked me what my life's purpose was. And so there's a room of about 100 participants. We're all in probably our 20s and 30s. And he says, what's your life's purpose? And I raised my hand and I said, to get rich. How did I know? I hadn't read him before. That was the worst answer I could have given him. I just want to get rich. And he says, so Bucky Fuller sat there and he says, young man, 100 people, he's chewing me out. This is a ski resort in the summertime above beautiful Lake Tahoe. And he goes, it's a waste of a mind. It's a waste of a mind to get rich. I'm going, well, what else am I going to do? So he asked me a question that changed my life. He says, what does God want you to do? And I went, what? You see, the problem is most people come out wherever they go and they say, what do I want to do? What I wanted to do was get rich. And I was pretty successful at by then. It's 1981. But he asked me the question, what does God want you to do? And that took me for a loop because, as I said, I flew these in Vietnam. My whole life is dedicated to killing. So the reason I show you this book here, the Capitalist Manifesto, and the Communist Manifesto is what I think God wants me to do, which will change my whole life, is teach money. I was going to be a teacher of capitalism. And that's when I created Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the board games and all that. I took all the lessons I had learned from my rich dad, not my poor dad, and I began to teach. And I think that's what God wants me to do. Because it's been nothing but good luck after that. Not been easy. Easy. I'll just hit the scholar's going to do. No, I've been screwed, tattooed, met good people, honest people, liars, scumbags, and all this. But that's the process. As Bucky Fuller said to me, he says, you weren't given a left foot and a wrong foot, or a right foot and a wrong foot. We make our mistakes left, right, make mistakes. And most people are not successful because they're afraid of making mistakes. So Fuller has this whole series of books. One's called Mistake, Mystique. And he's changed the world. Harvard, this is Fuller, and Harvard calls him their #1 graduate. The trouble is, Fuller didn't graduate from Harvard. He flunked out like I did. No, I didn't flunk out of Harvard, but I flunked out a lot of times. But he was the man that asked me one most important question: what does God want you to do? And so the reason I show my gunship and this is because I've been fighting these guys since Vietnam, and they're now in our school systems. If you read this book here, you'll find out that in 1930, this was 1848, but he predicted what would happen. What Marx said in 1930, the way communism would come to America and take down capitalism is via education, higher education. So what happened in 1930, Columbia University Teachers College brought in communist teachers from Germany, and they started teaching America's teachers to be communists. So today, if you read this book here, they're good people, like my poor dad, but they have Marxist ideas. So the long answer to a short question, is getting rich worth it? Depends, but what's worth fighting for? What does God want you to do? I fight for capitalism and free enterprise, free speech and freedom. That's worth fighting for, and I get rich doing it. If you just want to make money, buy gold, silver, Bitcoin. no problem.
What was the biggest challenge getting rich?
You gotta be kidding me. Every day is a challenge. What's the biggest challenge getting rich? Every day is a challenge. You see the reason we go E, S, B, and the I, the E's are not interested in getting rich. They want job security and a steady paycheck. That's all they want. The biggest challenge is getting rid of that idea. I just want a steady paycheck and a 401k. And for the S, the biggest challenge is, I'm a doctor, so I'm the smartest, and I'm gonna do it by myself. As self-employed, small business guys, they think small. The biggest challenge is getting out of this cheap and tacky small mind. Because if you really want to be rich on the B and the I side, you have to be a leader, you have to have a team. Another thing about the B and I, when you look at that, B stands for brand. You really want to be rich, build a brand like Tesla or Apple or Microsoft. That's what great entrepreneurs do. There's so much to learn, and everybody wants the quick and easy answer. You want the quick and easy answer? Buy gold, silver, Bitcoin, don't do anything else. You'll be rich. Not because you're smart, but because our economy's been run by idiots. They keep printing more money, so the more money they print, gold, silver, Bitcoin goes up. That's all you have to do. Just do that. But is that what God wants you to do is my question. Thank you. So, what does God want you to do? And the question is, what's worth fighting for? What's worth giving your life for? That's the question. But I'd already faced that in Vietnam. That was the U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. military schools. We dedicated our lives for freedom. Most people will give up their freedom for a few dollars of job security. You ain't got it. You ain't got it. Find something inside of yourself that's worth dying for and go for it.
Is there anything else that you think is important for someone to understand about really getting rich?
You use debt to buy assets.
Well, then...
That's all it is.
Okay, then let's just...
I'm $1.2 billion in debt. Go do it. I'm $1.2 billion in debt. Just go borrow $1.2 billion and buy assets that provide cash flow and pay no taxes. That's all you have to do. Average person can't do it. But you can if you dedicate your life to study, practice, and keep learning. I borrowed $20.2 million to buy a $50 billion mine that I'm going to pay for it by taking it public, Toronto or NASDAQ stock exchange. My answer. You gonna do that? I don't know if you know that. I don't think you guys could do it. I went to Vietnam. I killed people for it. It's worth fighting for. So I can say that. So make it really easy. Okay, you borrow $20.2 million. You raise $50 billion on the stock exchange, and that's how you get rich. Do it. You can't do it. So the reason most people aren't really rich is because, like Tiger Woods has missed more putts than I have. Tiger Woods has hit more balls out of bounds than I have. Tiger Woods has spent more time practicing than I have. Tiger Woods has spent more time in golf tournaments than I have. That's why he wins. Well, I'll kick his ass in business. So the most important thing to know is in 1971, the US dollar became debt. I used debt to get rich. Unfortunately, without financial education, most people use debt to get poor.